I think I'm starting a theme here with the energy drinks. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I might be drinking too much caffeine, but that's all right. Welcome back to the FixHer Up. Let's get into it. Today we are going to be talking about engines. Engines can be a lot to explain. There's a lot of different components and moving parts, so we're going to look at a couple common terms that you might run into. So I'm not going into the nitty-gritty of how an engine works. We'll save that for another time and I can do more in-depth explanation. We're going to start off with explaining a little bit about engines. So they do come in different shapes and sizes. Some of the most common ones that you'll find is what's called a straight bore. So that means that all four of your cylinders are in a straight line. Then you get your straight six. So same concept, but instead of it being four, you have six. Then you get into something that's called your V6. It still has six cylinders, but instead of it being in a straight line, it'll be in a V and you'll have three cylinders on each side. If you're ever hearing those terminologies, or even some vehicles, you might notice when you have your emblems and the badging on the back of a car, you might see a little V6. It's just talking about the style of engine that's actually in the vehicle. The next thing we're going to touch on is your engine size. So you might hear things where it's like, oh, I have a 2-liter or a 3-liter, whatever it is. There's all sorts of different sizes of engines, and that has to do with something that's called displacement. It literally just has to do with like the size that is inside the engine. Does it necessarily mean that something's going to have more power? No. I have a 2.4 Jeep, which is terribly slow compared to my 2.0, or technically it was a 2.5, but Mazda. My Mazda had more than double horsepower of what my Jeep does. It's also a turbo. While these numbers might matter, it also doesn't hugely matter. What I want to break down today for you guys though is your pulley system. So we're going to be talking about your Serpentine belt system, which this is basically just responsible for powering your accessories. What are accessories? I know. Not earrings and jewelry and all that stuff. Anyways, so accessories on your car include things like your AC, so your air conditioning, your alternator, your power steering, things like this. AC, it's your air conditioning. It's the thing that blows nice cold air on you on those hot summer days. Your alternator is a part which helps your car to actually get started. So you can think of it as like a little generator. As the pulley moves on your car, it turns your alternator, which then creates power to put back in your battery. This can also help power other components in your car, so your lights, your radio. Symptoms of a bad alternator and a bad battery can be very similar because a bad alternator can actually start to damage your battery over time. Some things to look for that might indicate you're having a problem with one of these two is your car doesn't start easily, or your battery dies very often, things aren't working properly, or even really weird sounds. I still remember I had this little beater Mazda, and one day I started hearing this horrible screeching sound and I thought the car was dead. No, it turned out the alternator just wanted my attention. Swap that out and the noise went away. Now we're going to talk a little bit about diagnostics within your vehicles. There's a few components and terms here that we're going to break down to just kind of help explain to you how this system works. First off is OBD. So that just means onboard diagnostics. Most vehicles nowadays have what's called OBD2. There is an older version, which is OBD1, which was used in cars up until I think about 92. And that's basically just the main part of the computer that helps your car to run. ECU is the electronic control unit. You can think of that one as like the motherboard for your cars. It's a key part of the computer system which really helps your car to run by kind of gathering data. Next is a DTC, or diagnostic trouble code. This is a code that your vehicle will register when it's getting information from the computer that there's something wrong. This then triggers what's called an MIL, or a malfunction indicator light. This can show up in the form of, say, an engine light on your dash. My Jetta loves to have the glow plug light up, but basically this is your car trying to communicate with you that there's a problem that the computer has noticed and it needs attention. Finally is the DLC, or diagnostic link connector. So this part is found usually somewhere on the driver's side under the dash, and basically it's a plug that you use a reader to then communicate with the computer to find out what the codes actually are. Think of it as almost like it's the connection to the translator units. Your car's having problems, it had a DTC code, which then triggered an engine light. So you know something's wrong with your car, but you don't know what. So that's where you can pick up these readers, which will tell you what's wrong with the car. You can get some cheap ones on Amazon, things like that. You can pick them up anywhere from like 20 to 100 bucks, depending on your need. Some vehicles like my Jetta, the Volkswagen, needs a very special system in order to really be able to tell what's going on with it. So that's a little bit more finicky, but can be a great tool to have on hand. The thing about the codes is they don't always tell you exactly what's wrong with the car, but it's that kind of leading to figure out what it might be. There is your basic little engine and some terminology breakdown for today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you the next time on FixHer Up. Thanks.